Library of Heaven's Path. Chapter 72, Unable to be revoked. Save him. Unable to control his strength. Based on Xiao Wanjai's words, Zhang Xianlishi's strength is superior to Elder Shang Chen? How is this possible? Without taking too much time, everyone managed to process the events that just occurred. This was especially so for Shang Bin and Cao Xiong, who claimed that Zhang Xian was weak and that Wang Tao was lying. The both of them were unable to believe the situation unfolding before them. In the previous examination, Zhang Xian was confirmed to be only Jinkai Realm Pinnacle. This was something that the entire academy was aware of, and there weren't any news of him breaking through. If so, how could he be stronger than Bai Xiao Wanjai? Furthermore, based on his words, it seemed that even Elder Shang Chen was incapable of matching up to him. It might be bizarre and unbelievable, but no one thought that Bai Sun was lying. Everyone knew that not only is Bai Xiao Wanjai incredibly talented, he was also fond of competing and sparring with others. He would feel uncomfortable if he didn't spar a couple of rounds every day. Since he was so in awe of this Zhang Xian, did that mean that he really possessed the strength he spoke of? At this point, every single of them widened their eyes to look at the young man whom they thought was trash previously. There was nothing spectacular about him, except for his white and smooth skin, which made him look even younger than his actual age. How could he possibly be an expert? Cough cough. Upon seeing the doubtful gazes of everyone else centered on him, Zhang Xian shook his head helplessly. He was probably unable to hide his true strength any longer. But after scoring at the bottom for the teacher qualification examination as a fighter 3 Dan Jinkai realm, to become comparable to a Pixie realm expert after a short break. No one would believe it. Is it that difficult to keep a low profile? Zhang Xian felt a migraine working up. He wanted to hide his strength, keep a low profile and secretly Zhuangbai from the shadows. Initially, he thought that Bai Sun was completely unrelated to the academy whatsoever, so no one else here would learn of it. However, never in his dreams did he expect that in just a single night, that fellow would come rushing over. After making such a huge ruckus, it was impossible for him to hide his strength any longer even if he wanted to. Such ill fortune. Just as he was still perplexed over the situation, he saw Bai Sun Xiao Wanjai's face popping up right in front of him with a fawning expression on it. He, Master Zhang, Grandpa Zhang, did I settle the matter well? However, he couldn't blame Bai Sun for behaving like this either. Master Lu Chen had already said it clearly that whether he was able to pass the examination or not depended heavily on him. It was natural that he would intentionally try to please him so as to get in his good books. That's the reason why he woke up so early, and upon hearing that Zhang Xian was here, he barged in along with his subordinates. Still acceptable. Since what's done was done, Zhang Xian could only acknowledge it. Thus, he nodded his head. Zhang Lishi, accept me as your disciple. Aware that Zhang Xian's strength wasn't just Jinkai realm, clan head Wang Hong did not hesitate anymore. He signaled to Wang Tao with a glance. Wang Tao stepped forward once more and knelt before him. Acknowledging Master Zhang as your teacher, who do you think you are? I haven't even acknowledged him yet, and you want to be with me? How about we spar for a little bit? Before Zhang Xian could even speak, Bai Xiao Wanjai glared at him. I dare not. Wang Tao was startled. Even though Bai Sun was around the same age as him, his strength had already reached Fighter 5 Dan Pinnacle. Given that he was several times stronger than him, sparring with him. What's the difference between it and seeking death? Fine, Wang Tao, you can listen in by the side of my class tomorrow. If you perform well, I can consider accepting you as my student. Afraid that this Bai Xiao Wanjai would stir up trouble once more and pummel Wang Tao's life away, Zhang Xian immediately interjected. Thank you, Zhang Lishi. Clan head Wang Hong sighed in relief and hurriedly thanked him. Wang Tao wasn't Zhang Xian's student yet, but from the looks of the current situation, this was the only way to settle the situation now. After all, who could he blame for the disappointing actions of his son, barging into the classroom of the other to kill the teacher? No teacher would accept such a student after meeting with such a situation. However, even though he was just listening in by the side for now, as time went by, as long as he performed well, he was surely able to become an official student. Listening in by the side. Elder Zhang Xuan was on the verge of tears. He was an elder of the academy, as well as the head of the education bureau. Normally, he was the one picking students out from the lot. It was one thing if someone withdrew from his tutelage to acknowledge another teacher. But he went on to listen in by the side of the lessons of another teacher instead. Not to mention, the worst teacher of the academy. Elder Zhang Xuan felt as though his old face was being stepped on repeatedly, and not a shred of his dignity remained. His dignity had been thrown all the way to his grand-aunt's house. Why not his grandmother's house? Because he had already passed by it. Master Zhang, is there anything else that you need me to settle? If so, I will help you. After which, teach me painting. Bai Sun turned to look at Zhang Lishi. There is still some things I need to settle. Zhang Xuan turned to look at Sheng Chen. Elder Shang, the results of the Enlightenment Will trial are already out. Isn't it about time we fulfill the terms of the bet we agreed on? The reason why he was here was because of the Enlightenment Will trial. After the trial had ended, many things have occurred, but it was about time for the bet they have decided upon to be carried out. Zhang Xuan, there's no need to be gleeful about this. I lost the Enlightenment Will trial, but at most, I will only suffer 100 God-slaying flogs. I'm afraid that you don't have the ability to strip me of my teaching license. Knowing that he was unable to escape from this any longer, Cao Xiong chose to face it, and he walked forward with a ferocious expression. Don't have the ability? Zhang Xuan frowned. Indeed. I don't have any bad track records, and I didn't cause any of my students to go berserk either. Even though my result in the teacher qualification examination is subpar, it is still a pass. To strip my teaching license just because of a bet, even the teacher guild doesn't have the authority to do so. Cao Xiong howled frenziedly. Is this true? Unsure of the rules and regulations, Zhang Xuan looked at Elder Mo doubtfully. He was an elder of the teacher guild, so he should know of these matters. What he says is true. Elder Mo nodded his head. A teacher's teaching license is issued after numerous verifications by the teacher guild. If the person in question does not have a bad track record, it is difficult to revoke his license. Is that so? Zhang Xuan frowned. He recalled those who were in the education industry in his previous life. Over there, even if a teacher were to be inadequate in their job, the school didn't possess the right to fire them. In fact, even the Ministry of Education didn't have the right to do so, unless they have done something that went against the morals and values of a teacher. It seemed that the situation over here was similar as well. Then, why didn't you say so when we were deciding upon the bet? Zhang Xuan couldn't resist asking. Back then, when he was raising his stake, he thought it would be possible for his teaching license to be revoked, so he brought it up casually. If only he knew that revoking one's teaching license was that difficult, he would have just chosen to expel him from the academy. Cough cough, I thought that, you would lose. Elder Mo said awkwardly. Not only did Zhang Xuan score a 0 in the teacher qualification examination, he had also caused the cultivation of a student to go berserk. If someone were to pursue the matter, it was possible for him to be expelled. As Elder Mo thought that Zhang Xuan would definitely lose, he didn't point the matter out. He didn't expect for Cao Xiong to lose so thoroughly to him. It is impossible to fulfill the conditions of the bet, unless, Elder Mo spoke but hesitated halfway through. Unless what? Unless, there is a master teacher or an associate master teacher personally testifying that he is unqualified to remain as a teacher, and the testimonial is reported upwards to the teacher guild. Elder Mo said. Master teacher? Associate master teacher? Where do I look for these? Zhang Xuan shook his head. Regardless of whether it was master teacher or an associate master teacher, they were figures high up in the education circle, so how could it be possible for him to be acquainted with one? Furthermore, even if he was acquainted with one, it was impossible for the other party to bother themselves with such a minor bet. Zhang Xuan frowned. At this moment, the teacher on duty, Zhou walked in once more and clasping his hand together, his voice echoed in the room. Shang Qianlishi, there is a lady outside who has identified herself as Huang Yu looking for Zhang Qianlishi.